Hello, I think all of you remember the mini-game from PvZ called Invisible Zomboni. The point of this mini-game is to beat a level with invisible zombies. But what if we try to beat the whole game with invisible zombies? Is that even possible? Today I'll try to do just that. Let's not waste time. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll start the video. Level 1, it really doesn't matter what kind of zombies you face here. Just one lane, so it's impossible to make a mistake. On level 2 there are already 3 lanes, and the chance to guess where the first zombie comes from is about 33%. Yeah, I'm quite the mathematician. Anyway, for now it's all easy and the invisibles don't cause problems. On level 3, the situation is similar to the second, but now we have conehead zombies. The only way to know where they are is by listening for the sound when a pea hits them. If you hear plastic, that's a conehead. The same trick works with bucketheads, but for now it's not needed. Yes, PvZ where you have to listen for sound cues. That's something strange. Level 4, now we've got all 5 lanes, and the chance to guess the first zombie's lane is about 20%. But guessing isn't the best strategy. It's better to let the first zombie through, sacrifice a lawn mower, and build up defense on the other rows in the meantime. Still, no real problems so far. Level 5 is the walnut bowling mini-game, and in the context of this challenge it's actually stressful. The only decent way to beat it is to roll walnuts across all lanes in turn. Even then, the strategy isn't great. I was losing lawn mowers left and right. And near the end I almost had a heart attack when I couldn't find the last zombie. Level 6 introduces pole vaulting zombies. Technically, you can see them because they kick up dust while running, but honestly, I barely notice it. Or rather, I do notice sometimes, but rarely, so I have to rely on cherry bombs. Level 7 is the first one with 2 waves. I messed up at the start and lost 2 lawn mowers instead of 1, but overall it was still easy, especially if you use snow pea. Level 8 introduces bucketheads, and as I mentioned before, the way to detect them is by listening for the sound cue, which works great. Level 9 is supposed to be the hardest in this area, and it kind of is, with lots of pole vaulting zombies. But my defense was strong enough to handle it. Then comes level 10, the conveyor belt stage. Its difficulty doesn't change at all with invisible zombies, still as easy as ever, nothing more to say. Now onto the night levels. First stage, and honestly, the night area feels even easier than the day one, all thanks to puff shrooms. From the very start I can fill an entire row with them and not worry about the first zombie at all. Then once I build up my economy, I just plant pea shooters or any stronger plants I need. On the second level 1 got the sun shroom, which made building up my economy much easier. Though the overall strategy stayed the same. On the third level the screen door zombie appeared. Since I don't really know on which levels he shows up and on which he doesn't, I decided to replace the pea shooter with the fume shroom. Honestly, it's also a very good plant. Level 4, I don't really have much to say about it, because I can't actually see what's happening, but it felt easy. But level 5 was interesting. The mini-game, Whack a Zombie. To my surprise, with invisible zombies it turned out to be quite difficult. I kept missing some zombies and lost several lawn mowers, even though I was carefully tapping all over the lawn. By the end, I only had 1 mower left, and thank God I didn't lose. On level 6, the football zombie appeared. Just like the pole vaulter, you can spot him by the dust he kicks up, so he wasn't really a problem. Level 7 is basically a slightly harder version of level 6, but honestly, I didn't feel much difference. Level 8 introduced the dancing zombie. But he's also easy to notice thanks to his spotlight. Level 9, nothing difficult, so let's skip right to the last one. The conveyor stage wasn't hard either, though it did feel a little different from the original. It seemed a bit longer, not sure why. Now for the pool area, another daytime stage. Here the first actually tough levels begin. Well, not the very first one, but still. The strategy here is the same as in the first world. Let the first zombie through, sacrifice a lawn mower, and set up defense. By the way, it's also pretty easy to detect zombies in the water. At the very least you can see the splashes when they step in, and with only 2 water lanes, your chances of guessing where they are 50-50. On level 3, the snorkel zombie appeared, and he's a really annoying one. Thankfully, he's visible in the water thanks to the ripples around him. Level 4 is the first stage with 3 waves, and just look at the defense I managed to build up. Even so, zombies managed to break through, and I still don't know how. Level 5 is the mini-game, Big Trouble, Little Zombie. The fact that the zombies are invisible doesn't make this one any harder. On level 6, the Zomboni showed up, but nothing surprising really happened. Level 7, though, was noticeably tougher, but my defense was strong enough to handle it. On level 8, the Dolphin Rider zombie appeared, and I decided to have some fun planting torchwoods. The dolphin zombies did get in my way, though, eating my pea shooters. On level 9, I upgraded my torchwood strategy by planting tall nuts in the front. In the end, I had a really solid defense. And finally, level 10, the conveyor stage, honestly, a very satisfying level to watch. Fog stage. Here the strategy is the same as in the night levels, but now there's also water. Overall though, it doesn't really cause problems. In my opinion, this is the most boring stage, especially for this challenge, because with the fog you wouldn't see the zombies anyway, so the gameplay hardly changes. And I honestly don't even know what to tell you. On level 3, the balloon zombie appeared, so instead of the pea shooter I used the cactus. On level 4, I added fume shrooms alongside the cactus, but otherwise it was the same. Level 5 was Vasebreaker, and that one became a bit more tense, mainly because you never know which zombie is going to come out of a vase. Still, nothing too hard. On level 6, the Digger zombie showed up, so instead of the cactus I started using Split Pea. But on its own, Split Pea wasn't very effective against the Digger, so sometimes he managed to eat my sun shrooms. On level 7, I was given Starfruit, and I swapped out Split Pea for it, which made things a whole lot better. Levels 8 and 9 were completely normal, nothing to say about them. Level 10, the conveyor stage, my favorite. And yeah, even though this is my least favorite world overall, this conveyor is actually my favorite one in the whole game. It wasn't any harder with invisible zombies, though I did lose one lawn mower at the start because I didn't notice a zombie in time. Still, overall, simple as always. And finally, the roof stage. On the first level, problems might come up, because you don't have flower pots yet, so ideally you shouldn't lose them. But you understand, with invisible zombies, the chance of guessing their lane is very low. So for the first level one came up with this strategy. Whenever I saw a zombie's position, I killed it with an instant use plant, and then played the rest of the level normally. And it worked perfectly. On level 2 I got the flower pot, so I could go back to the standard strategy. On level 3, the ladder zombie appeared, but just look at my defense, I didn't even notice his presence. Level 4, again, my defense looked like perfection, a paradise for a perfectionist, in my opinion. Level 5 was the mini-game with chompers. I can't say it was much harder, but it was a little trickier than in the original. On level 6, the catapult zombie appeared, but for some reason the mod's author didn't bother removing the catapult's wheels, so you can actually see him. But honestly, that only made it easier for me. On level 8, Gargantuar showed up. To be honest, I forgot exactly which stage he first appears on, and I only realized he was out when I saw the huge silhouette next to a kernel pult. Still, the level was no problem. On level 9, the same thing happened, though this time I noticed him quicker. And that's when I realized something. If not for the kernel pult, I'd only notice him once he was already smashing my plants. And finally, the boss fight. To my surprise, the only thing invisible was Dr. Zomboss himself, the Zombot wasn't. Technically, the Zombot isn't a zombie, but still, the fact that he's visible makes the fight much easier. First, I could see where he was placing zombies, even though I couldn't tell exactly which ones, but as we know, that's not too hard to figure out. Second, you can see when he leans forward. And third, you can see which type of fireball he's going to launch. Ideally, the mod could have made the fireballs invisible too. Sure, they'd still leave trails, but it would have made things way more hardcore. As it stands, I didn't feel much difference between this boss fight and the regular one, and I beat it without issues. But honestly, the boss fight has the most potential to be the hardest level in this whole challenge. So, what's the conclusion? Is PvZ with invisible zombies much harder? Personally, I'd say no, because I know this game inside and out. Even under these conditions, it wasn't that hard for me to beat it. But if you're not such an experienced player, this could definitely become a serious challenge for you. If you want to test your own skills, you can download this mod via the link in the description. And on that note, I'll wrap up the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, check out my other videos. Thanks for watching, good luck to everyone, and goodbye.